Hi there, this is Jake Adams, CPA with Tax Savings Team, and I'm going to share with you here a quick tip about the Eisenhower Matrix. Now, if you've never heard of the Eisenhower Matrix, this is such a powerful tool for time management. And CPAs, tax professionals, we're notoriously bad at time management. And I'll tell you, once I discovered the Eisenhower Matrix, I was able to maximize my time management so much better and really figure out what I needed to do in the day. So I want to share a couple tips with you about time management and about the Eisenhower Matrix. So basically, the way that the Eisenhower Matrix works is that we need to figure out first what is important and what is not important, and what is urgent and what is non-urgent. Now, the biggest problem that we have, especially during tax season, is our email inbox, right? You're probably nodding your head. Yes, your email inbox is usually our biggest frustration. And the problem is that whenever you get an email, you don't really know if it's important or not. And you don't really know if it's urgent or not. So the problem is it seems like we're always checking our email, and we have to go into that email to figure out if the email is important and urgent, or if it's not urgent or not important. So we're spending more time in our inboxes, in our email inboxes, than we probably should, right? So what I want to do is suggest to only check your email inbox every couple of hours, right? So right now, if you're checking it every 2 or 20 minutes, try to push that back to an hour or 2 hours, right? There's some people that only check their email inboxes 2 or 3 times a day. Is that best? Well, no, you might be missing some critical things, some important things if you do that. But try to get in the habit of checking it less frequently, right? So maybe every 1 or 2 hours if you're currently doing every 2 to 20 minutes right now. All right. Now, also, whenever you're in your inbox, right, whenever you're doing email, don't just kind of take care of your emails willy-nilly or going through all of them, especially from the top down. That's not always best. You always have to give yourself a time limit, right? So if you have a timer cube, that's great. If you don't, go onto Google and type in the Google search 15-minute timer or 30-minute timer, but give yourself a time block for answering emails. And then when the timer goes up, you need to respect that time and that cutoff, right? That finish line that you've given yourself, and say, okay, I'm finished with the email for right now. And any emails that I didn't get to, I will come to at another time. And by doing that, you're forcing yourself to figure out what the important emails are and what the urgent emails are. And if you look at an email and you say, oh, this is not important and urgent, I can take care of this later, then you can use a tool like Boomerang. I think in Gmail, the inbox for Gmail now, there's actually an option to delay it or to bring it back to your inbox in 2 hours or 2 days or whatever that may be. So I personally use Boomerang. It's a great tool for for pushing an email back to a later time. And then that way, if I say, okay, I'm going to take care of this in 2 hours, I can hit the Boomerang button, set it for 2 hours, and it'll come back to me. And then that way, when it comes back to me, then I know it's time to take care of that. It's time to take care of that email at that time. So let's go ahead and talk about important and urgent stuff. Now, whatever comes at you that's important and urgent, you need to do this, right? And this is the problem that we have as far as CPAs, as tax professionals, is these fire, right? It always feels like we're firefighters. We're constantly fighting these fires. And so the important and the urgent stuff we need to do, right? But the problem is if we do too much of this, then it feels at the end of the day like we haven't accomplished anything, right? It just feels like you've been fighting fires all day. So that's why it's really important to figure out what's important but non-urgent. These are the things that you need to plan. These are the things that you need to plan for throughout the day. And try to get to the office early if you can, or try to log in 20, 30 minutes before 9 o'clock. Maybe if you can get in at 8:20, 8:30, 8:40, something like that before 9 o'clock, and figure out for the day what is one really critical piece that needs to get done, right? And try to do at least one big thing. one big thing, if you can plan for that, right? And then like three like medium-sized things. So try to do one big thing and three medium-sized things, right? And plan for those in your day. So actually put in your schedule, okay, at 9:30, I'm gonna work on this big thing. And time blocking is really critical for this. We call this time blocking, where you're actually blocking out an hour of your time. And then by blocking out an hour of your schedule, turn off your phone, don't check email during that time. It's gonna allow you to focus in on that task. So try to find one big task and about three medium-sized tasks throughout the day. That's really gonna be helpful for you. The other thing that's important and non-urgent are things that are gonna be helping you grow your business, right? These are the things that they don't just pop up. They don't pop up in your email box, right? They're not like, mixers or networking events and things like that where you can go in and get new clients. These are non-urgent, important things that are gonna help you to the next step in your business. So these are things like identifying your target market, doing pricing, figuring out if you're gonna be doing fixed fee or value-based pricing. These are all things that are important and non-urgent that you need to actually put into your schedule, right? Have this be your one big thing or your three medium-sized things. Put these in your schedule, plan them in your schedule so that you can actually make sure that you make time to do these things. Because if you don't plan to make time to do these things, then this important and urgent stuff is just going to come up, right? The other thing that I want to mention with this important and urgent versus the non-important is this is who is looking at it, right? So what is important to you may not be important to someone else. And what's important to someone else may not be important to you. So this can get kind of weird, right? Because sometimes someone say, hey, we might need you to do this right away, but you're like, well, that's not really that important, right? Or that's not really that urgent. And so this is about figuring out what is important for you to do and what is not important for you to do. And this is where we get into things like delegating. This is where we get into things like delegating. So delegating things that are not important or that don't add a lot of value to your clients. And this is something that's easy to do. So if you have an admin staff or if you have junior or senior accountants in your firm that are working with you, delegate it, right? Bookkeeping, payroll is great for this too. Don't always do bookkeeping. Don't always do payroll. There's other people out there that are happy to do the bookkeeping and happy to do the payroll. Feel free to delegate it. Bookkeeping and payroll, while it's important, is not that important as opposed to the huge value add services that you can do with clients, such as financial services, such as CFO, such as tax planning and tax strategy. You need to figure out the maximum value that you can give your clients and try to maximize the value of every conversation, right? So that's between doing and delegating, which is really important. And then I don't need to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. The non-important, non-urgent. This is things like surfing through Facebook. This is things like like marketing activities that aren't geared towards your ideal client. These are things like social hours with clients on the phone that they're not important and they're not urgent. They can be pushed off to another time. So it's important to know when you're doing a non-important, non-urgent task and to be able to recognize that and realize that and say, hey, we can take care of this at a later date. But of course, it's important to make time to do those things when you want to do those things personally and socially, right? But you don't want to have too much of it take up your time, right? So this thing, we either want to eliminate it or push it back. Either eliminate or push, right? So this is the Eisenhower Matrix for time management. We're going to be talking a lot more about other time management techniques, but the Eisenhower Matrix is a great kind of review of time management and some of the ways that you can better spend your time and help you make sure that you're not constantly fighting fires and make you feel productive throughout the day, so that throughout the end of the day you don't say, hey, I didn't get anything done, because you're figuring out one big thing or three medium things, or hopefully one big thing and three medium things that you can get done in your day to feel accomplished and have a value to yourself and the value that you've created to your client. So thank you so much for your time. This is Jake Adams with Tax Savings Team, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks.